Okay, logarithms. So basically, if you have the log base A of x is equal to y, so that A is a subscript. When you have an equation that's written this way, then this is another way to write an exponential equation. The way to figure out the exponential equation is to do something that Mr. Novell and I like to call the curly fry. A to the y equals x. Okay. So do you see how that worked? A to the y equals x. Now, this is our logarithmic form. This is exponential form. These two equations mean the same thing. So we're going to practice going back and forth between the two forms, and then you'll be able to use exponential form to solve logarithms. So first example, we want to write in logarithmic form. Okay, first equation is 2 to the 4th equals 16. So we're starting out with an equation in this form. I need to go to that. Okay, so look at your number with the exponent. A to the y, well, we have 2 to the 4th. So that makes my 2 a, my 4 is the y, and my 16 is the x. So when I write that, I say log, and my a is 2, my x is 16, and that's equal to my y, which is 4. Okay. And then I like to check these by doing the curly fry. 2 to the 4th equals 16. That was my equation. So that's how you can check to make sure you're right. So this is your answer. Let's look at one more like that. 2 to the negative 2 is equal to 1/4. Okay, remember our equation is a to the y equals x. So this makes my a 2, my y negative 2, and my x 1/4. Okay. So I write my equation, the log base 2 of 1/4 is equal to negative 2. Once again, do your curly fry to check. 2 to the negative 2 equals 1/4. You got it. So this is your answer. Okay, now the next example, we're going to go in the other direction. So this time we want to write in exponential form. For A, we have log base 2 of 32 equals 5. So I think this way is a little easier because you can just use your curly fry. You start with the 2. 2 to the 5th equals 32. That's your answer. Okay, let's look at one more. Log base 10 of 0.001 is equal to -3. Okay, curly fry again. You started at your subscript. 10 to the -3 equals 0.001. That's your answer. Okay, next example, we're going to practice using our calculator. Okay. Now you have a shortcut on your calculator for 2 logarithms that are the ones that are used the most often. If you just see log, then that means log base 10. You have an log button on your calculator. If you see ln, that means log base e. So remember the number e we talked about? Okay, that's what that is. You have an ln button on your calculator. So on this next example, you're going to use your calculator to evaluate each. For A, we have the log of 5.4, and for B, we have the natural log of 948. Okay, so pull out your calculator and I'll show you where the buttons are. So your log button is right next to number 7. So you're going to hit log 5.4 for that first problem. And let's round to 3 places. We'll say that's 0.732. Then for the natural log of 948, your ln button is right next to number 4. And we used that button earlier in the exponential assignment whenever we hit second ln. So we're just going to hit ln, and then what was our number, 948? Hit enter. So that's going to be 6.854. Okay, next we're going to evaluate each. And we're going to do these without our calculator. So for A, we have the log base 4 of 256. So we want to know what this is equal to, so I'm going to say equal x, and then I'm going to set it up like a curly fry problem. 4 to the x equals 256. then you need to know what can you raise 4 to get 256. So we'll go to our calculator. And I'm going to type in 4. I know 4 squared in my head. I know that's 16. So let's try 4 to the third. 64. Not quite there. So now try 4 to the fourth. There it is. That's what we wanted, right? So that's my answer. 4. Then the next one, log base 3 of 1 over 27. Okay, so take a second to set up the curly fry on that one. Okay, so we have 3 to the x equals 1 over 27. Now, this one's going to be a little harder since it's a fraction, but if you remember from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, for a number to become a fraction, it needs to have a negative exponent. So forget about the fraction for a second and try to figure out 3 to what power gives you 27. Well, 3 squared is 9, but 3 to the third gives me 27. So what if I make it 3 to the negative third? Okay, that gives me that decimal, but if I go to math and change that to a fraction, sure enough, that's 1 over 27. So on this one, my answer is negative 3. Now, one other shortcut I want to go ahead and show you all while I have you on here. If this curly fry thing is confusing you, okay, you do have, there's an update for the calculator that came about not too many years ago, but if you hit the math button where we found fraction earlier and scroll down, it looks like it's A on my calculator. I'm going to assume it's the same on yours, but if you are using one other than this app, but it says log base regardless, and it'll be in that menu. So when I hit enter on there, it lets me put the base of 3 and the 27. And there, well, I've got it. And I put the wrong problem, didn't I? That should have been 1 over 27. Well, let's just start that one over. So math, log base 3, and then my fraction, 1 over 27. There it is, negative 3. Okay, so if you want to use that button, that's fine, but I wanted you to at least see the curly fry because I know several of you are going on to college algebra and you're going to need it for that. Okay, and they probably won't call it curly fry either. That's just kind of a little thing Mr. Novell and I do, but you've at least seen it. Okay. Now, problems that are going to not turn out nice, you're definitely going to want to use that calculator. So, for example, let's say that you're finding the log base 4 of 81. Okay. Well, if you use your curly fry, 4 to what power equals 81? Well, you can't raise 4 to a power to get 81. So that means your answer is not going to turn out to be a nice number like we saw before. It's probably a decimal. So definitely want to use that button there. So when you go to math, type in log base 4 of 81. See, I mean, it would take you forever to kind of guess that it's 3.1699. Okay, so you wouldn't want to have to do that. So that's about 3.1699. Okay, and guess what? A little celebration time. I think that this is our very, very last video, which kind of makes me sad, but not really, because I really don't like making these videos. I'd rather talk to y'all face to face. So just as a little bonus surprise for those of you who faithfully watch my videos, and yes, I know there's not many of you because I can tell on YouTube when there's only 5 views. If you message me telling me how awesome my videos are, boost me up, give me a little love here, then I know you've watched my video, and there might be some bonus points for you. How about that? So just a little celebration there on our last official new lesson. After this, we will be taking our quiz on this stuff, and then be working on reviewing for the final. So we'll probably do some Google Meets or something like that to make sure you're ready